Hello, welcome to episode 33 of The Realtors. I'm David Blair. He's Trevin Perez. Trevin, how's it going?
Hey, it's fantastic, David. Great time of the year. What's going on?
Who's
Wait,
that?
who's
Who's
that?
that? Who's that in the middle? We've
Hello.
got a we've got a we've got a guest today. We've got LeiYana Stevenson. She is a agent in with Redfin in Tampa. LeiYana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Good
Thank you.
morning.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I got a kiss of real estate back in 2002. I was in between jobs, and I had a girlfriend, ask me if I would be interested in working at a title company. And I took the job. 6 years later, in 2008, I received my real estate license. That was a very crazy time. You know, the market crashed then, but I've been in ever since then, and I
Awesome.
love it.
Awesome. How are you liking the so you were telling us before that you were with Compass and now with Redfin. What's the biggest difference you see between the two companies?
Between the two companies, Redfin Compass is great. Redfin is more structured. So it's different. We're employees of Redfin, so there's different expectations. But I do like structure, and that's pretty much the difference to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, someone who doesn't
Oh,
like structure would be Trevin. Trevin, what do you got on that?
wow. Well, welcome to the show. How long have you been with Redfin?
I've been with Redfin since April 2025.
Oh,
Awesome. So
congrats.
good
Congrats.
switch, good
It
move.
was a good switch. It was a good switch for me. Originally from Washington, D.C., was with Compass for 6 years, and originally from Washington, D.C., realtor there for many, many years. And then when I relocated to Florida about 3 years ago, it was time to make a switch. So I switched over to Redfin to build up my clientele and things of that nature.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, you have more seniority on me, so I'd be coming to you for advice because David here, who has a few months on me, he doesn't always know the answers. So, can I ask you for answers when I struggle?
Sure, of course.
Okay, great,
So,
great.
so I did notice that, so the two of you, Trevin, I don't know if he mentioned it. Trevin was with Compass as well. Not that many years though. Trevin was only, how long did you make it there? You were a year? I think you were a
1 year,
year.
one
1
solid
year.
year. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
It was
So,
great because you get that proverbial call from the CEO saying, "Welcome to the team." I was impressed by that. Did you get a call from Robert when you joined?
I didn't.
Oh, maybe that was something new. I was special, David.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
but she was there 6 years. You were there 1 year. So, I mean, I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
it
I
was a
feel like,
special 1 year.
I feel like she made a better impression.
Oh,
LeiYana, this is what I was talking about. Once we get on camera,
I
the
see.
shots are fired.
So we've got a few really good topics I think today that we're going to cover. The first one we're going to talk about is market moods. So what's the color of the real estate market this week? Is it good? Is it bad? Let's talk a little bit about buyers, sellers, and just kind of what you're hearing in the market. Trevin, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So I would say that the market is, from a color standpoint, I don't think we're in the green light phase yet.
Mhm.
Whatever that color in between is, we're not red. But sales are slow in December based on NAR's report on how sales went across the board. It was slower than expected. And January's picked up quite a bit. Now we're in February. We're seeing the momentum build. I mean, I see from Redfin's activity that we have a lot of out-of-state buyers coming into town. They're looking for homes to buy. We're right at the beginning of the race for the spring kickoff season. From that perspective, I think listings are still moving a little slower than most of us want. Um, but I can't wait for the caffeine to kick into the market. That's my take. How about yourself?
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
the market is, if I had to pick a color, I would say it's gray. It's not, we're not in the clear, we're not in the dark. It's been cold here for the last couple of weeks, so I'm seeing a bit of a downtick in people wanting to take tours. I had a couple tours set up, but it was like freezing cold last weekend, and so a couple of the tours were canceled. I think buyers are taking their time still because there is a lot of inventory in the market, so they don't feel like they have to go and see a house and then sit in their car and call their realtor right away and say write an offer immediately. There are some multiple offers, far and few in between, but mostly buyers can kind of sleep on it and think about, what they want to do. And then as far as the sellers are concerned, I'm seeing homes come on the market that aren't priced as high. Some of the sellers had like the 2022 COVID mindset. Oh, my neighbor sold their house for $800,000 in 2022. It's a different market now. And I believe that the sellers are more realistic, becoming more realistic with their listing prices.
Yeah, good points. Really good points. For me, it's so what's the range? And it's been so long since I see the little mood rings every now and then. You'll go into like an antique shop or something, and you'll see the little mood rings, and I'll put it on, and it goes straight to black. What does that mean? Is that me? Is that something about me and my character?
Yes.
So I think it's in the middle for me as well. I'm seeing that. I work with a lot of sellers, and that mood is kind of all over the place. Actually, it depends on the seller. I had a seller. I was talking to Trevin this past week that didn't even want to counter an offer that came in within 2 to 3% of where the listing was, which for me was just crazy. But it just every seller is in a different space. I think it's up to us to just counsel, just kind of talk to them about the market, show them what the market's doing. A lot of times the market will show them without you saying anything. If they're not getting showings, they're not getting activity, that typically tells them everything that they need to know in regards to, are we priced right, and that sort of thing. Feedback is another thing that I kind of rely on with sellers. And I've gotten some feedback recently on listings where the property just didn't show well. Trevin, we have a mutual friend. You have some listings, I have some listings, and I'm getting bad reviews. I'm trying to share that with him, and he's not seen the light yet. So that'll be kind of interesting. But you do just have to be. I'm just honest with sellers and say, look, this is what's said about the property. It's not meant with any kind of disrespect or bad intention, but we need to get this straight. And then on the buying end, same thing. What LeiYana was saying is that it's unusually cold here, for us, and I've got people that have traveled here from up north to escape the cold, and they came here, and now we've got 30-degree, and minus weather in Northeast Florida where I'm at. A little bit warmer where you guys are, but not much. So yeah, that's something that's a little hard to deal with, but it's what it is. Interest rates are something that we always kind of talk about. That's obviously a driving force. Trevin, what do you follow you follow our guys that make the decisions in regard to interest rates? I know that's a favorite thing you like to do. What are our interest rates going to do? What's happening? Any changes in the horizon that's going to help us with interest rates?
I like the topic description for this topic, which is the X you can't stop talking about. Right? It's like let's be done with interest rates, but we can't.
Yeah.
We have to keep talking about it, and there's nothing to report. Right? Nothing new. Nothing's changed. I think the market, the community of buyers out there who haven't bought, they've accepted that their rate is going to be between the high 5s to the 6, maybe 7, right? Mm-hmm. They just expect it. And it's just part of the norm since COVID, as LeiYana referenced, when we had those amazing rates. We know that in June, the chairman, Jerome, whatever his last name is, Jerome, whatever.
Powell. It's Powell, isn't it?
No, I was going to say Powell, dude. Jerome Powell, he passed away, man. He used to be the general.
Oh. No, that's Clinton Powell. No, that's, is it? I don't know.
Anyway, somebody in our audience, please, comment on this. make fun of
Here,
us
I'm gonna
if we're
pour out
saying
some
it
coffee
wrong.
for Clinton Powell or whoever we just,
Yeah, whoever, right? All we know is Trump is gonna fire the dude soon as June comes, and he's gonna bring in one of his cronies to take over
yeah,
the job.
yeah.
So nothing's gonna change until then. But I'm sure by then we'll also see that 50-year mortgage get passed, which is part of Trump's agenda. But
Hmm.
that's my 2 cents. Since you and
Yeah.
I butchered Jerome's name, LeiYana, can you add some spice to this?
I can. I always say marry the house, not the rate.
Mm.
So basically, get into a home that matches the budget that you have. If you have a budget of 2,500 a month and the rate's 6%, you have to match that up and try to find the home that fits your budget is basically, because if you just wait around, and especially if you're renting, you're ultimately throwing money away. So get something, and then the market eventually will turn around. Like I said, I've been in since 2008, so I've seen the downslope like this before, and it'll turn around.
Makes sense.
Mhm. Good
Hey,
points.
David, I was wrong. You were right. Jerome Powell.
I told
So,
you. I told
you
you.
know, everyone who follows us roast me. I can't wait to see the comments. I was wrong.
He's alive though. He's still alive,
Still,
correct?
this guy is alive. He's 73
Okay.
years old. Why
Okay.
is he still the Fed chief? I don't know. We need someone
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the
Well,
we talked
Dave,
about
you didn't
buyers,
give us your
obviously.
2 cents.
On the interest rates.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously it's less than what it was a year ago. I think interest rates right now are at 6. I closed a VA at around 5.75, so those have continued to be the lowest rate available. I've got an assumption deal going on right now that we just wrote a contract. We talked a little bit about VA assumption loans and things like that they're taking a little bit longer to do. Very, very worthwhile. I've got one that we're actually closing on hopefully in about 60 days, and the interest rate is 2.3%. So, they're definitely going to wait around and make sure that they can get that. But yeah, I think everyone's kind of turned the page, and they're, you know, there's a little hope every now and then when you see changes like we're talking about with with the Fed changes that, okay, well, maybe that's going to make interest rates drop a little bit. But I think everyone has given up on the fact that, okay, it's not going to go back down to 3%.
Right.
That's not going to happen in the next year, 2 years, or more. So it's what it is. Prices are adjusting a little bit to that, and I think that we've kind of moved on. I don't discuss it much anymore in regards to that. I just say this is what the rate is, and to LeiYana's point, you just have to factor in some other things regarding affordability.
Mhm.
And if you can afford it, find the budget, which is excellent advice. Find the budget that you're looking for and stay within that, and just quit worrying about exact numbers and what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
David, one last point on this topic. DPA, down payment assistance. Recently, I've gotten some buyers to take on loans with down payment assistance, and it's not income required. This isn't, any of those county-based programs.
mhm.
So just had one close a few weeks back. I was shocked it's available. It's still out there. That money does come at a higher percentage interest rate.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Mhm.
but it's out there. So buyers, reach out.
Do they have to pay? Did they have to pay it back in your case?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's part of the overall. It's almost like the loans we had during the crash of an 80/20 loan.
Hmm.
You know, so that portion of the loan is higher interest rate. You end up
Mhm.
paying that one faster, but it's all
Okay.
tied to the 30-year mortgage.
Okay.
And in this case, my buyer, he got a check at closing.
Yeah. Nice.
Mm.
Very good. So moving on, sellers gone wild, pricing edition. Let's talk a little bit about sellers right now, and are they willing to listen to the market? Are they pricing correctly, or are they still overpricing? And the phrase that you hear all the time is that I'm not in a hurry to sell, and if we get our price, then we'll move, and we want to build in flexibility in pricing. Trevin, what are you seeing in that regards? We meet with a lot of sellers. What's what's the take?
Hey, sellers know more than you and I and LeiYana. We don't know anything. And we happen to, work for a national company who's been around for over 20 years doing real estate, but clearly we don't know anything. Sellers know the best. And yeah, they want to overprice and then blame us when it doesn't perform. That's the quick and skinny of it.
Mm,
Some prime examples have a listing that took 90 days to get under contract. They wanted to start high. Thank God they didn't start as high as they originally wanted to.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the shared seller we have, he will not take my call because I keep telling him we need a price correction.
yeah,
Buyers aren't stupid. They don't
yeah,
need a realtor to tell that a home is overpriced. So it is just such a frustrating reality. But to Leanna's point about COVID, everyone's pricing as if it was COVID years when the market was spiked really high.
hmm,
But that's what I got there. I mean, it's just like we said in our notes, crickets.
yeah.
Homes are just not budging. Leanna, what's your take on that?
My take is it can go either way. What I like to do when I go on my listing consults, instead of coming in with numbers, we sit down and we pull the houses together, because they're always like, oh, what, a lot of sellers are like, what about my neighbor that sold a couple doors down? I have to show them your neighbor sold that house a year and a half ago. So an appraiser is not going to use that in their comps, right? And so I like to include the seller in on a lot of the decision making from the beginning, and most often they will go with a fair price. I am having quite a few seller investors that just bought in 2023 that want to sell, and a lot of them are going to have to end up taking a loss with those, but they want to pull the money out that they put down to go make other investments. So
Yeah.
they're a little bit more understanding than the person that may have been their forever home or a family home or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was showing a listing the other day, and the customer asked me, why had it been on the market for so long, and it was on the market for 90 days, which in we're each in different markets, and is that a long time period? I told him, I said, 30 days or less is definitely a seller's market. 60 days or less is still that. 90 days, I think, at least in my market, I consider it a little more of what we call a balanced market. And then once you cross over that, we get into 90, 120 plus, then you can realistically say it's a buyer's market at that point. But it's difficult conversations regarding that. If you've been on the market for 90 days, and I've got a couple listings that are at 90 plus days right now, and some of them are conditional, that we could make adjustments in price, which is probably where we need to, and some of it just flat out is the price. We're just not getting activity, but the
Right.
sellers are in a position of where when they bought the property that they can't, they're limited as to what they can do, in regards to selling it. And so, all of us went through COVID and real estate, and in 2020 you could buy a home in 2020 and sell for profit all the way through 2022, 2023, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of insane, that you could still do that and make a lot of profit. But 24, that started to kind of fall flat. So if you bought within that 23, 24 time period, which a lot of
Yeah.
these listings kind of fall into,
Yeah.
it's you're in a, you've got some tough sledding ahead. It's going to be, you have to either look at other options, whether it's, maybe you put the property in the rental market. I've got some owners that have said, hey, we're out of this area, we're not in the city anymore, so we're going to have to rent it, or something like that, to kind of stay afloat until prices come back. I've got a couple listings that we did that with, so
Yeah.
um, that's just what ends up happening. So good segue into that with the sellers is Redfin made a national announcement. It goes into effect the second of this month. Actually, it went into effect. So we're raising prices, and it's the first time that we've had a price increase in how long, Trevor? Think 15, 20 years or more? I'm not sure. I know it's been quite a while. So our standard listing of 1.5% that I thought was excellent and that would compete with any other standard listing that's out there with any brokerage, went to 2%. And now our concierge, our top white glove service, if you will, with marketing, concierge went to 3%. So, Trevin, what do you think, and how do you think that's going to affect our sellers that have gotten used to Redfin and that 1.5% listing?
Yeah, I think that what that tells everyone is we're getting more on par with the market, right? You think about a Compass or Keller Williams or ERA, any of these well-known brands. We're no longer going to be perceived, I think, as a discount broker.
Hmm.
We're not discount. We're national. We're premier. We have high end concierge, as you said, white glove services. So 2% isn't a cry higher than the 1.5. It's minimal, right? In its effect, but the product and the result of your listing experience far exceeds what the average brokerage offers. Hence why we're all here today. I saw a stat that showed that Redfin agents sell 3 times more homes than your average agent, okay, across the nation in the market, right? Not talking about top tier agents or teams. And there's a reason for that because we're our app, our technology, everything is centered around attracting buyers and sellers. Our data, our housing data, our what Glenn, our former CEO, Glenn Gellerman, would be on CNBC all the time talking about the real estate market. It's not some other brokerage who's on there talking about the market. It's Redfin is always on the news talking about the market. So we know our stuff. 2% is insignificant to the services we offer. Anybody who wants to question that, they should contact us because we can prove it with evidential, data, real concrete numbers. And 3%, my gosh, holy cow, 3% is still lower than the average agent out there. You got agents charging 4% for their services or more. So I think that it's a non-starter. It's not an issue. We're just going to keep killing it. LeiYana, what's your take?
I think it's awesome. Even, like you mentioned, at 1.5%, we offer a lot. And on top of that, with Redfin, you have very, very seasoned agents behind you. You have a team behind you. When you work with one of us, you have I like to say, they call it a transaction coordinator. I like to say a client care coordinator.
Mhm.
You have a listing coordinator. So the client care coordinator takes you to the finish line or helps us take you to the finish line. You have a listing coordinator. We don't, we're not walking through your property with our cell phones. We're walking through to let you know what we think the house is worth. But on top of that, we hire professional photographers to come out. We're taking pictures, 3D shots. We're going to your community pool to take pictures and just like bringing your home to the best light. So we offer a lot at the 1.5. So like you mentioned, 2% is still a great deal for everything that you get, within our services.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. All good points. I think it should be higher. I think we should be at 5%, and that concierge should be at 10%.
Yeah.
But I meet with a lot of sellers, and I met with a seller about maybe about a week ago, and he told me flat out. He said, I said, why did you call Redfin? He said, well, he said I called because you guys advertised 1.5%. He said, so for me it was a cost issue. He said, and I don't see there's any difference in what you guys do than any other company. And I said, well, let's agree to disagree. And I just laid out everything that LeiYana just said in regards to what we do that is on par and exceeds what other companies do. And the concierge service, in my opinion, is a huge value because I think there's a perception that, well, it's a little bit higher and your company's just going to make more money in that scenario. No, it's not. We take that additional percent and drive that directly into marketing dollars on your property that puts your home in that top of all of those search engines, whether it's emails, text messages, all those things that come out directly to Redfin to buyers, to where it places that property top of mind. In addition to what you just mentioned, the drone photography, I mean, all of those things that we do with it that drive people to the home and
Hmm.
and put the necessary attention on it to get it sold. Having said that, I have the same conversation with sellers all the time. You've got to do your part. We can drive all of this marketing to your property, but you've got to be priced correctly because no amount of marketing is going to overcome overpricing the property, even in the current market. So it's
David,
Super Bowl week. Go ahead.
before you do that, right, David, just to reiterate on that point, you mentioned 1%. So are you telling us that 1% of the commission that Redfin is charging for our services, we are actually using that money to spend back out into the market? We're not keeping it. It's not part of our commission.
It's not. It's not.
Like what?
It's not. I know you want it to be, but it's not. And then there's some other factors which we won't disclose, but you can you have some discretionary funds to where part of that percentage you can assist in a transaction if you need to, and we'll just leave it at that, because those are case by case basis. We don't want to think that that's just a slush fund that we can take from at any time, but we're there to put deals together, and that's what those dollars are for. And I think this one seller that I met with, we could not get on. Honestly, we could not get on the same page with regard to the difference of what we do versus any other company. And I think that's the biggest challenge for all of us, is that we have to convey, the powerhouse company that we're with, and what we bring to the table. Transaction coordinators, listing coordinators, associate agents. We're one of the only companies that have associate agents that can go out there when we're actively on an appointment somewhere else, and can continue to show that property and keep that buyer engaged, and allow them to see our homes. So no one else can touch that.
So David, just to dig into that deeper, are you telling me we're going to charge 3% for concierge that gives you above and beyond high-end services, and that white glove treatment, or even the 2%, and we're going to take a portion of that money we haven't even collected because we haven't sold a home yet, and we're going to put it toward marketing. We're going to put it to that team of resources. And what you didn't mention was we're going to spend money on Facebook and Instagram social media ads.
Sure.
So we're just going to be spending money we haven't earned yet because that customer trusted Redfin. Wow.
That's it.
That's an impressive business model.
I have another piggyback. What about buying and selling with Redfin within a year?
Oh, what is that?
Trevin, did I tell you? This is why she's here. This is why she's here, Trevin. Tell us about it.
Redfin within 1 year, and you will receive 0.5% back, whether you sell and then buy, or buy and then sell. So ultimately, if you were to go with the 2% commission, and then you sold your home and bought another home, you would get 0.5% back. So ultimately, you're selling your home with us for 1.5%.
Wow. Is the internet going to break here? I think we broke the internet.
And this weekend only, if you list your house, more? I will give you my Costco vest, for this cold weather this weekend, just this weekend. So speaking of this weekend is the Super Bowl. Anybody on here? I know I'm a huge football fan. LeiYana, are you a football fan at all?
I know nothing about sports.
Then you know twice as much as we do. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Trevin's got it. Trevin, your team is who? Who's your team again? I'm trying to remember.
The Giants. They're not in the Super Bowl. Thank you.
They're not in the Super Bowl.
How about your team? They're not in either.
The Cowboys are not in the Super Bowl. They'll be there next year, but I say that every year. So But so one good thing with the Super Bowl. Any Super Bowl parties? Anybody going to any Super Bowl parties? Hosting a party? No.
We're partying from home, but we're partying. Yeah. I'm still trying to get over to your place, so we'll see. Yeah. Don't tell.
Open invite. So with the Super Bowl comes huge dollars that are spent not only on the game but on advertising. So one of the biggest things for people that don't like football are the commercials. The commercials. Every year we hear about commercials and how much companies spend on dollars and how much commercials are. I don't know what the rates are. I've heard anywhere from, I know it's millions. It's in the millions of dollars to run a 15 or 30-second commercial. It could be as much as like $10 million. Trevor, do you know anything about the pricing? I don't know exact numbers. So
no, it is over $10 million. It is crazy. Yeah, for a 15, 30-second commercial. But yeah, keep going.
And what that means is if you have that kind of money to spend on a Super Bowl commercial, you're a player in this market. You're a large company. If you go back over several years of commercials, if you look at the companies that are uh, running commercials during the Super Bowl. These are large, huge companies that have staying power. These aren't like one and done. And Redfin is joining that club this weekend. They're gonna run a commercial spot this weekend. Trevin's been on me about what I can say or what I can't say, so maybe I'll let him disclose that because he thinks I'm going to reveal too much information on what we can say. So what have you heard? We saw a spot, but I'll let you say what you can say.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
You're going to put me on the spot.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm just going to ask LeiYana if she wants to take the mic and just have that conversation.
I'm not sure.
She's like, no. So we can say who though, can't we? Can't we say who?
I don't know. Was it on the? I think it was on the commercial, right?
It was launched. Yes. So Lady Gaga is actually doing the voiceover in the commercial. We did see the commercial. I thought it was fantastic. It's a short spot. It's kind of one of those tearjerker, type commercials. And it's from the song of, I don't know, age wise where we grew up at, but I grew up listening to or watching Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, and the song from that. Everybody's familiar with Mr. Rogers, I think. The song from that. You're not?
I don't know what you're talking about. Keep going.
The song from that is taken from Mr. Rogers. Won't you be my neighbor? So it's really cool. Tune into that. I think it's going to be pretty fun. And then there's also we can't participate in this because we're employees, but there is also a $1 million home giveaway. So if you don't have the Redfin app, download that app by Sunday at 8 p.m. And each one of us have, I checked with the director yesterday, each one of us, I'm sure as we know, have our own loyalty code. So we all have our loyalty QR code that we'll put out there in our respective markets, that you can scan that code if you're not already on Redfin, and that'll allow you to be linked to LeiYana, to Trevin, to myself, to where you can not only view properties, but you can play it's a scavenger hunt. It's a scavenger hunt that begins on Sunday on the 8th, and I think it wraps up on the 10th. And they're going to give away $1 million home. So who doesn't want that?
Like what? $1 million home?
Yeah.
And if you go onto the redfin.com website, you'll see at the very top of the screen, a $1 million home is hidden in our big game commercial. Download or update the Redfin app to find it first and win it. Your search begins on February 8th at 8 p.m. Like what? What company does that? And give away marketing dollars. And if you sell a home in a year, give you back some money.
So let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this, LeiYana. I want to ask you this. What can I buy in your market if you're selling me $1 million home today? What can I get? What can I get for $1 million?
Here, I mean, your money goes a long way here. $1 million. I mean, you can buy here in in the Pasco County area. You can buy in Wesley Chapel. You can buy in Tampa. You'll get a newer home in the Wesley Chapel area. Okay. More established home in Tampa, in the Tampa area. But you'll get a nice house, a nice size home.
Okay, Trevin, what about your market? What can I get for $1 million?
For $1 million, you can be
looking it up now.
Hey.
We lost him. Well, Trevin will be back in my market. You can. Oh, he's back. There he is. Did you go look at the $1 million home and then come back? Where'd you go?
I did. I left. I'm ready to start finding a home to buy. And maybe I can get. No, I don't think my wife or anybody in my family can participate in this. I'm so disappointed.
No.
Damn.
No cousin, no great aunt, nobody like that.
That's a good point.
So I have stepchildren. So are they allowed to? We've got a different last name. So I'm thinking that I can maybe sneak them in somehow. Give them the app. Kidding. We don't have any inside information as to how that works, but it seems like a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun today. LeiYana, you've been great. We appreciate you coming on the show. Trevin, what do you think? She did pretty good.
She did great.
Thank
She
you.
wasn't long-winded, and she got straight to the point. She added a lot of value to the conversation, far more than there's just some of the gas and air that comes out of your mouth. So,
I
I
agree.
thought it was a plus.
I
Thank
agree.
you so
Yeah.
much for
Yeah.
having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we needed somebody different. I'm just kind of tired of Trevin. I'm like, I've seen your face on here for like a year. We need some fresh blood. We just need some. We need an infusion of energy and excitement that you can't bring to the show. So he understands that, and we appreciate you. This is going to air today at 5 o'clock on the Realtors, which you can find and subscribe to on our YouTube channel. So we're going to send that link out. All of us will be included. If you're in Tampa and you're looking for a property, LeiYana, she's your agent. If you're in Orlando, Trevin, he's your guy, and I cover Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. So, Trevin, you want to close us out?
Hey, we thank you today for coming out, watching us. It's Friday, February 6th. We hope you have an amazing weekend. We hope your team wins the Super Bowl. Keep an eye on redfin.com for that contest and reach out to us as soon as you want to buy or sell a home.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good week. See you.
Bye.